All right, we're going to start in 30 seconds or less. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Thank you very much for joining us again. Yet another week. I am very grateful to all of you for taking the time to join in. You could be doing anything else, but you've decided to be here to hear the glory of Sri Ramachandra and his associates. And those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Those who have been here regularly, I'm extremely grateful to all of you. We are at a very important point in the Ramayana. In fact, every point is an important point, but this is a very special occasion where Vibhishana has left Ravana, is waiting in the sky, expressing his desire along with 4 of his associates to offer himself at the service of, at the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra. And he has just expressed that to Sugriva. Nivedayamam kshipram vibhishanam upastitam sarvaloka sharanyaya raghavaya mahatmane. Please quickly let Ramachandra know that Vibhishana is arrived to give himself up at the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra, who is the shelter of all living beings. Since this is Sharanagati, we discussed that it is important to approach the Supreme Lord, to surrender to the Supreme Lord through his associates, through his representatives. In this case, is Sugriva and the Vanaras. That's where we are at. Whether or not Vibhishana should be accepted or not is the question right now. Because he has come from an enemy camp. He has come from Ravana's palace. He's Ravana's brother. So is Vibhishana trustworthy? That is the question. This entire episode of Vibhishana's surrender fits within three sections, if you will, or 3 phases. The first is Vibhishana's arrival and offering himself to Sri Ramachandra through Sugriva, Hanuman, Jambavan, etc. The second piece is the conversation, the almost democratic conversation, whether or not Vibhishana should be accepted? And this is a question Ramachandra raises. And the third section is Ramachandra expressing considerations in accepting Vibhishana. So an important question that is raised is, it is in Sri Ramachandra's nature, the Lord's nature, that anyone who comes to him seeking shelter, he is very quick. In fact, he doesn't make any considerations. He's very quick at offering his shelter to such a person. That being his nature,
Continue on I-10 west for 262 miles.
that being his nature, in this situation, somehow Ramachandra, through Sugriva and others, has been keeping Vibhishana waiting. This is very much against Ramachandra's nature. Yet Vibhishana is waiting. And that is because the medium, Sugriva, etc., have to approve, have to propitiate on behalf of Vibhishana. But the interesting thing is, Vibhishana has come from Ravana's home. So there's a lot of question whether or not to do this or not. So after Vibhishana has spoken, Valmiki tells us, Etat tu vachanam shrutva sugrivo laghuvikramaha lakshmanasya ramam samrabdham idam abravit. He spoke to Sri Ramachandra, who was standing in front of Lakshmana. After hearing the words of Vibhishana, Sugriva turned to Sri Ramachandra and spoke. Now here the adjective used for Sugriva is Laghu Vikrama, one who is very light-footed, which means he's very fast, is very expedient. Now that expediency, that speed is part of how he considers and processes Vibhishana being here. Now he moves fast. So Vibhishana tells Ramachandra, Pravishtaha Shatru Sainyam hi Praptaha Shatrur ar Shatrur Atarkikaha Nihanyadantaram Labdhva Uluko Vayasan Eva. So he says, this Vibhishana, he indeed has arrived from the camp of the enemy. Just the word itself is, the stage is being set between us and them, friends and enemies. Pravishtaha Shatru Sainyam, he has arrived here from the enemy camp. Okay. And Nihadyad Antaram. What will happen is, he will wait for a very good opportunity and he will probably kill us. Just like an owl, Ullukaha Vayasan Eva, like an owl kills the eggs of a crow. What an analogy. So apparently a crow lays eggs, not apparently, a crow, like other birds, lays eggs. And the owl looks around, slowly enters, lays its eggs also within the cluster of crow's eggs, and slowly, over time, takes over the nest and kills the crows. So in that sense, he is very domineering. The owl is. Then Sugriva says, before you take on anybody within your team, especially from coming from there, please consider mantre, vyuhe, नये चारे युक्तो भवितुमर्हसि वानराणां च भद्रं ते परेषां च parantapa. Oh Lord Ramachandra, who can win over his enemies. Bhadramte, may everything be auspicious to you. Vanaranam cha, and also let everything be auspicious for the Vanaras, the monkeys. But you should be very alert. Yukto bhavitum arasi. You should be alert and vigilant as far as who you take advice from, how you gather and deploy your troops, uh, how you strategize and move about in conquering your enemy. This is just simple uh, worldly strategy of how you conduct yourself as a king. Now, these Rakshasas are very, very tricky. Suddenly, they can disappear from your vision. Antardhanagata. He. They can suddenly disappear. Rakshasaha kamarupinaha, and they can change their forms at will, which means we will not be able to recognize whether such and such Vanara is actually our own monkey or a demon, Rakshasa, disguised as a monkey. It will be hard to separate the difference between who's our friend and who's our enemy. Shurashtra, they're very, very valiant. Nikrutigyascha, and extremely crooked. Not crooked, the word used here is crafty. They're very, very tricky. Tesham jatu vishwa, tetam jatu na vishwaset. So one should not trust such Rakshasas. Sugriva is looking at Vibhishana as a Rakshasa. प्रणिधि राक्षसेन्द्रस्य रावणस्य भवेद अयम अनुप्रविश्य सो अस्माद् भेदं कुर्यान्न संशय. Without a doubt, it's possible that this Vibhishana can mix within our troops and slowly sow the seed for dissension. So, Ramachandra, be very careful before you say anything. Okay, if it doesn't cause dissension, he will wait for the right time. He will read and assess what our weak areas are. Because this fellow is very shrewd, is after all a Rakshasa, and he would attack at a point or attack that area of our weakness. That is how these Rakshasas are. So, and he comes from them. So he's not trustworthy. Then he speaks a principle. Okay. If someone is offering you help, what should be the considerations to receive that help? So he says, Mitratavi, Mitratavi balam chaiva, Maula bhritya balam cha tatha, Sarvametad balam grahyam, Varjayitva dvishat balam. There are 4 places from which you can take help. Mitra, when friends offer you help, or they offer the recommendation of someone else to take help. If they say, oh, such and such reference, and if a friend gives you a reference, you should accept it. Atavi, Atavi is those who are living in the forest, means sages, in this case the Vanaras, because they have nothing in their hearts about the political machinations and manipulations of worldliness. So Atavi Balam. Maula means hereditary. When someone offers a reference coming from your generational people, you can accept that. Bhritya Balam. And if there is a servant and you have to pay them to get something done, you can trust them because you're going to pay them. but a reference that you never trust. Varjayitva, you should give up. You should reject balam, that dvishad that comes from an enemy. Hmm? So this Vibhishana tomorrow may offer some advice. Tomorrow he may offer his other people to come and help. I don't think we should accept that. Prakritaya rakshaso hi esha. His nature is to be a rakshasa. Now, what can you do? Not just some, natures don't change. There's a famous story. Once a scorpion asked a monkey, I need to go from here to there across the river. Can you please take me? And the monkey said, you're a scorpion. If you get on my back and you sting me, I will die. I can't take that risk. No, no, I promise you, I will not sting you. Are you sure? Oh, yes, I'm very sure. I will not sting you. The monkey said, all right. The scorpion got on the monkey's back. The monkey got into the river. And a few minutes later, the scorpion bit him very strongly. Ah! Monkey said, I thought you told me you will not sting me. What to do? I'm a scorpion. That's my nature. So Vibhishana is being referred to here as Prakritya Rakshaso hi esha. This fellow is by nature a Rakshasa. And as far as I'm concerned, he is enemy. Agatascha ripuhu sakshat. He is an embodiment of the enemy. Katham asmishcha vishwaset. How can we trust him? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe we should trust him. Ravanasya anujo bhrata Vibhishana iti shrutaha. Now this is Ravana's younger brother. His name is Vibhishana. And Chaturbhi saha rakshasebhi. And he has come with 4 of his associates. Bhavantam sharanam gataha. And he has arrived to take the shelter of your grace, your lordship. O Ramachandra, this Vibhishana has been sent here by Ravana himself. Ravanena pranitam hi. Tasyaham nigraham manye. Therefore, I reject him. I think it is not worthy of accepting. Kshamam, kshamavatam vara. And then he's using this phrase, very beautiful phrase. Kshamam, kshamavatam varaha. You, Ramachandra, by nature are a person. He's not calling Ramachandra innocent, but he's saying you are very, very kind-hearted. You don't make any such considerations. You will not see whether he is Rakshasa. You will not see that he is Ravana's brother. You will not see that he can board all sorts of dangers. You cannot see that he will, because of his nature, he will for sure betray us. Because you are kshamavatam vara. Of all those persons in creation who are very, very indulging, meaning accepting, kind, you are the top of them. You are the best among them. Although I would think that he has come here with a very crooked intention. After all, it's the time of war. And it's during war that people, their position becomes clear. Are they friends or are they enemies? So this guy is, all of his witchcraft is hidden. I don't think we should. In fact, Vadhyatam Esha Tivrena Dandena Sachivai Saha. I think right now, Vadhyatam, let's just kill him. And Sachivai Saha Tivrena Dandena. And all of his followers, the 4 of them, let's severely punish them. Ravanasya Nrishamsaya Nrishimsasya Bhrata Hyesha Vibhishana. This fellow is a brother of that cruel Ravana. I don't think there should be any consideration, no discussion. Just let's kill him. Be done with it. Evam muktva tu Ramam samrabdho Vahinipati. Vahinipati, the king or the husband, or not husband, the master of all the monkeys. After saying like this, Vakya Vakya Kushalam Tato Maunam Upagatam. Valmiki is such an expert. Every word he uses gives us some indication. So Sugriva is being referred to as Vakya Gya, one who is an expert at how to speak. And the reference to Ramachandra is Vakya Kushalam. Now, Ramachandra, Kushalam also means expertise. He's also an expert at speech. So, Vibhishana has spoken something. Sugriva, who excellently presented his situation or his case for why Vibhishana should not be accepted. Now, actually, if you look at it from the point of view of Sugriva, he's not wrong because he's Ravana's brother. We know Ravana's nature. We know what kind of personality Ravana is, what he has done in the universe. He's friends with Vali, and he's the one who has kidnapped Ramachandra's wife. So, as a friend, and also as he's giving advice that he thinks is very correct, Vakya Kya, and he's speaking it very well. Sugrivasya tad vakyam shrutva Ramo Mahabalaha. Ramo Mahabalaha, the strong, powerful Ramachandra. Mahabala, that he is not weak both in mind and body to fall for such advice. Samipasthan Vachedam. Hanuman was standing right next to theirs, close by. Hanumat Pramukhan Kapin. So he addressed all the Vanaras that are standing right in his vicinity, especially with Hanuman being right there. The reference to Hanuman is because Hanuman is considered the best among ministers. So Ramachandra is addressing all the Vanaras, but primarily Hanuman. So he says to Sugriva, Yaduktam Kapiraja Ravana Varajam Pratihi Vakyam Hetum Ad Arthyam Bhavadvirapi Shrutam. What you have spoken, O King of the Vanaras, has a lot of meaning and has your good intentions at heart. Very reasonable what you have spoken. And here's a principle Ramachandra says. One who's trying to make a decision about anything should seek the inputs and counsel of those who he or she considers as their near and dear ones. And they should be able, and those near and dear, he should make the situation such that the near and dear ones can speak freely and honestly without hesitation. Suhridam arthakrucheshu yuktam buddhimatam sada samarthe no pasandeshtum shashvatim bhutimicchata. If he wants to decide something, he should never make a decision on all by himself. He should consult with those that are close by, trustworthy, and who can speak openly without any reservation. None of you here are so dull. You're all very intelligent beings. And you're all speaking with well-wishing in your heart. So the monkeys also respond back, oh, Ramachandra, you're just asking us for advice, although you know everything. Agyatam nasti te kinchit. There is nothing that you don't know. Trishu Lokeshu Raghava. In the entire three worlds, you know everything. There is hardly anything, or in fact, there is nothing you don't know. Atmanam Pujayan Rama Prichasyam Suhrutaya. Suhrutaya, because of your love for us, out of that love, you're asking us for input, although you really don't need our input. This is nice, huh? Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would ask his disciples, what do you think we should do? It's not because Prabhupada did not know. Out of his loving nature towards his disciples, he would ask them their advice and he would want to hear how they're thinking and what advice they have. Sometimes he would take that advice. And it would be very hard. How can a disciple give advice to the guru? Oh, Ramachandra, you are the person who think through very, very carefully. You're the one who processes really well and fast. And after you've heard from everyone, you will decide anyway. So Ramachandra said, Sugriva, let all your advisors speak their heart because they're all very intelligent. They're very capable of good judgment. They can offer good arguments with enough uh, meat behind it. So one after the other, let them all speak. And as they were discussing this, Angada spoke up. Ityukte Raghavaya Raghavaya. After the Vanara spoke to Ramachandra that, oh no, you don't need our advice because you know everything. Still, you're asking us. Angada spoke up, and he said, uh, as far as Vibhishana is concerned, this is my opinion, Sri Ramachandra. Shatrohu Shakshat Sampraptaha. He is the embodiment of the enemy. He has appeared in front of us. Sarvatha tarkya evahi vishwasaniya sahasa na kartavyo vibhishana. It's directly from Ravana's presence, he has come into our presence. Although he has come to you or come here, we should view him with some suspicion. Because people of this nature, they are shatabuddhya. Shata means wicked or crooked. Shatabuddhya, their intelligence works in a very crooked way. What he will do is praharanti cha randhreshu so anartha sumahan bhavet. He will attack when our attention is not there. He will attack by figuring out our weak points. And therefore, anartha sumahan bhavet, then the worst of the situations will happen. We will all face a very big disaster. Ideally, one should assess. This is a way of going through situation. Artha, anartha. One should know what is meaningful, what is meaningless. Vinishchitya, very clearly one should know. This is beneficial, this is not beneficial. This is good, this is bad. Gunan sangraha kuryat. So you should list the qualities, strengths, and you should list your threats or disqualifications of some decision. And this person doesn't fit. According to this analysis, he does not fit to be with us. Now, if we accept him, there will be a great disaster. So I don't think we should. After Angada spoke, The next is the big general called Sharabha. Sharabhastava nishchitya sartham vachanam abravit. Then Sharabha spoke very meaningful words. Kshipram aspin naravyagraha chara pratividhiyatam. What we should do is we should not very quickly decide to accept him or not accept him. Let's put him on probation. Hmm? What we'll do is have a spy move around with him. Let's see what he does. So these spies will go to where Vibhishana is. They will test him out because spies are very, very good. They will ask in very nice ways, almost seemingly as if they're your friend, and but they will be able to withdraw information almost unassumingly. And after we assess whether or not there are any faults in him, then we can decide whether to accept him or not. So let's send a spy. Then Jambavan, the old Jambavan, the wisest, if you will, the oldest one in that group. And he says he also very, very thoughtfully, deeply reflecting, because Jambavan is very well learned in scriptures. Shastra Buddhya Vichakshana. Shastra Buddhya Vichakshana. Not only does he have knowledge of the scripture, Vichakshana, he can see things in a very practical way. Vakyam Vijnana Vigyapayamasa offered his statement, and his statement, at least Valmiki says, Gunavad, was with high quality. Doshavarjitam, there were no faults in his speech. He said Vibhishana has come from a very far place, giving up the association of the sinful Ravana, who has great enmity towards us. Papascha Rakshasendrad Vibhishana. So he has been here and he has come to you without regard for time and place, which means he didn't put too much thought. He just got up, he's saying, and he came right here because you can tell he's dressed the way he's dressed, carrying his weapons, which means he has not thought through. He's just come directly to you. And because he has come just like that, it may be that he's just too sentimental. He doesn't say sentimental. This is my analysis of it. He said he should be viewed with suspicion because he has come without consideration of time and place. Because Krishna says that when you do charity, you should consider time, place, patra, whether the person is suitable or not, etc. So there's no considerations in Vibhishana. He's just come here. So we should view with suspicion. We take everything he's saying with a grain of salt. Mahinda, he was also very deeply reflecting. And Valmiki says he was very good at discriminating what is right and what is wrong. We only don't know what happened by the time he came to meet Lord Balaram, that discrimination went away because of course, the backstory is because of offenses to Lakshmana Deva. Regardless, one who's very good at discerning what is right and wrong and was very good at expressing himself, he offered this advice, which was very, very logical. He said, Vibhishana is the youngest brother of Ravana. Let's simply, nicely interrogate him. Let's ask him questions and let's go through and assess what is in his heart. Once we can read his mind correctly through proper reason and analysis, then Ramachandra, you should act accordingly. Buddhi Purvam, with full intelligence, after our analysis, we should accept him. Now, All of them have spoken. The only person who's not spoken yet is our Sri Hanumanji. I'm going to recite a verse. This is in chapter 17, verse number 50. Fantastic verse. What a glorification of Hanumanji. So I'll repeat this verse twice at least. So bear with me. It's one of my I like this verse very, very much. And if you are a fan of Hanuman, then I'm sure it will touch you as well. अथ संस्कृता अथ संस्कार संपन्नो हनुमान् सचिवोत्तमः उवाच वदनम् उवाच वचनं श्लक्ष्णम् अर्थवन् मधुरं लघु. I'll repeat it again. अथ संस्कार संपन्नो हनुमान् सचिवोत्तमः उवाच वचनं श्लक्ष्णम् अर्थवत् मधुरं लघु. So let's step back and look at Hanumanji. After all these people have spoken, Sugriva has spoken, Angada has spoken, Sharabha has spoken, uh, Jambavan, and Mainda. They are all big, massive, mighty persons with great experiences. Sugriva is the king. So his expertise and his seniority is above all of them. After all, he's the king. Angada is the prince, is Vali's son. So he has a certain place in the hierarchy. And in the troops that went, of the troops that went in the southern direction, Angada was the chief. He is the team leader, captain. The CEO is there, team leader is there. Sharabha and Jambavan are very, very aged, Vriddha. Now, Vriddha means with age, supposedly, you should have wisdom. And they are very wise people. And Valmiki said, Shastravat, they and Vichakshana. So they are very learned. Now, Hanuman has to be careful. When you speak in the presence of very learned persons who are very senior, one should be very careful. In fact, ideally, one shouldn't speak anything. But Ramachandra is looking at Hanuman because Valmiki told us. He addressed all the Vanaras, specifically Hanuman. So, how do you say something in the presence of such wise people who have so much experience? Jambavan had circumambulated Lord Trivikrama throughout the universe during that time. So, that happened so long ago. So, Jambavan's there. Then Mainda is there. Mainda is a senior person. All of them. So, how to speak? This is why Hanuman is so excellent and expert that one shouldn't speak. And if asked by Ramachandra, because he's being asked, what is your opinion? He has to speak in such a way that doesn't put himself on top of everyone because he doesn't have that kind of arrogance. He has to remain humble. He has to speak that is correct without hurting anyone's feelings. That's a big task. So, what is the first qualification of Hanuman? Atha samskara sampanna Hanuman. Samskara sampanna. Hanuman who has the best samskara. Samskara, well cultured. He is full of good culture in him. That means he has learnt very well from his parents, from his teachers. He has learnt very, very well. Otherwise, samskara, one doesn't get good samskaras. Hanuman. Hanuman, one whose jaw is broken. Man, Hanu's jaw. But Hanuman also means one whose jaw is very well formed, means he's an excellent orator, excellent speaker. This certificate Sri Ramachandra is given along with Lakshmana to Hanuman right when they met the first time. Sachivo Tamaha. Of all the advisors, Uttama. He's the best advisor. Okay. Uvacha, he spoke. And how are his words? How are his statements? Vachanam, slakshnam. Slakshnam means very perfect. There is no fault in any expression. Arthavat, full of meaning. Madhuram, very sweetly spoken. And Laghu. Laghu means he didn't speak too much, not too much. He didn't give like a 2 hour speech. What he spoke was eloquent. My spiritual master says the definition of eloquence means truth spoken concisely is eloquence. So these are Hanuman's characters. Now, anyone who has to speak in a group to anybody, these are the considerations. And one cannot be without good samskaras. Good samskara comes from hearing from one's guru and from one's parents and who we consider seniors. Hear from them carefully. That puts in good samskaras, good conceptions within one's consciousness. It's Lakshana. Perfect. Madhuram. Nobody got offended. So first thing he says to all of them, न भवन्तः मतिश्रेष्ठं समर्थ वदतां वरम अतिशयायतुं शक्तो बृहस्पतिर अपि ब्रुवन्. All of you have spoken so well that you can compete with Brihaspati, the guru of the demigods. Brihaspati is the one who gives knowledge. Even as good as Brihaspati is how you've spoken. Eloquent, powerful, intelligent. Now, because this matter is very, very important, I'm going to speak something. Oh, Ramachandra. And my heart is this, that I'm not speaking this for the sake of argument. Sangharsha. Oh, sorry. Na vadan, not for argument. Napi sangharshan, nor for any sort of competition. Na adhikyan, nor with a idea of superiority. Kamataha. I don't have any of these desires. I don't mean to argue. Because argue means just because I'm one of the ministers, I have to make an argument with all of you. No. Na sangharshan. I'm not competing with any of them. They're all great, great persons. You're all like Brihaspati. What can I compete with all of you? Na adhikya, nor do I want to show that I'm better off than any one of you. Nothing like that. Vakshyami vajanam rajan. Oh, Ramachandra, I will speak words. Yathartham Rama Gauravat. I'm speaking this only because Ramachandra has requested and out of affection and honoring Ramachandra's request. Otherwise, I have nothing to speak. He says, I see that there is a little fault in the advice that you've been receiving, where that you should consider advantages and disadvantages from accepting Vibhishana. The reason there is a flaw is given the moment that he's standing here with his associates waiting for you, this is not possible to sit there and consider all the advantages and disadvantages. We cannot ascertain, we cannot determine right now whether he is fitting or unfitting. We cannot give him something to do and then check how does he do it. We can't put him on probation either, because how much can you assess? So I don't think that's a good way to go. Now, if you're sending out spies, you cannot succeed by sending some spy and checking out from Vibhishana. that will also not serve any purpose. What is important, Sri Ramachandra, is Vibhishana has come here without any regard for time and place. In fact, this is the most fitting time for his arriving here. Your wisdom, you already is such that Ramachandra, you don't need advice. You know. The reason he has come here at this point is because he considers you superior to Ravana. Otherwise, he would have stayed with Ravana. He has also found out that being with you has greater merit than being with Ravana. He has figured out Ravana has very evil mind. And you, on the other hand, are a very, very great person. So his coming here has all of these considerations in him. Now, as far as what Mainda has said, that Vibhishana should be interrogated, he says, I have my own opinion on that. If someone tries to interrogate Vibhishana, any ordinary person can fall for such trickery. Vibhishana is a very clever man. He will become very suspicious. Hmm? And if he gets to know that you're interrogating him without any purpose, then he who can be a prospective friend will become upset. So your friendship with him will be lost. And I don't think it's good to lose a friend of like Vibhishana. Then, if you have to look at the intentions of an enemy, it is not possible that right in one moment or in one interaction you can assess the entire intention of the enemy. What you can do is, how about fully discovering what are the good intentions of Vibhishana by how he is speaking. Remember, when Hanumanji first spoke to Ramachandra, what did Ramachandra tell Lakshmana? He has spoken in a very madhyama tone, not too high pitched, not too low pitched, not too fast, not too slow. He's spoken the right words at the right pace with the right facial expressions. So that Hanumanji also is expert. It's called Ingita Jnana. Ingita means to look at bodily transformations along with speech. We call it body language. Sometimes we think we know that it's not just how expressive Vibhisha, but even the movements of the eyes or a twitch in the body, they can detect exactly what the intention is, what's going on inside. So I said, let's look at how, or just hear how he has spoken, and we can tell that there are good attributes in him. While he's speaking, you cannot figure out that there is anything malefic or evil in him. Na tasya bruvato jatu lakshate dushta bhavata. Bruvato, as he is speaking, na lakshate, na jatu lakshate. You cannot assess dushta bhavata, that he has any evil intention. Prasannam vadanam chapi tasman tasman me nasti samshayah. Prasanna vadanam chapi. In fact, look at his presence. Prasanna vadanam. His face is very pleasing. He's standing here with full peace in him. So, me nasti samshaya. Na me nasti samshaya. So I don't have any doubt about him. If a person has some deceit, some duplicity in their mind, स्वस्थो न शटः परिसर्पति न चास्य दुष्टवागतिस्ति न चास्य दुष्टवागस्ति तस्मान में नास्ति संशयः. If a person has deceit in their heart, they will have some embarrassment because one part of them will not allow to speak the truth. But if you look at Vibhishana's speech, there is no fault from his expression, from his language, etc. Therefore, in my mind, there is no doubt that he is coming with good intention. Now, someone may say, Vibhishana can be a very good actor. But for a very good actor, there is the expert boss here, Hanumanji, who even the slight movement of the eye, a movement of the lip, twitch, anything he can detect. And this is why Hanumanji was sent later to meet Bharata also. That even if you find the slightest hesitation in Bharata about giving up the kingdom, let me know. We will leave the kingdom to Bharata and will live in the forest. Now, Hanuman says, even if the speech has a veil, or it is being spoken with some deceit in it, the facial expression of a person will easily reveal, I'm saying easily, we may not have the expertise, for him, easily reveal his inner feelings. So, Desha Kalopapannam cha Karyam Karyavidavara Safalam Kurute Kshipram Prayogena Visamhitam. Oh, Ramachandra. The action of Vibhishana is perfect according to place and time. And when you assess that, yeah, this is the right opportunity, right moment, then it brings great success. So now fully considering all of these, uh, realizing that Ravana is sinful because Vibhishana has heard about Vali. So Ravana has also heard about Vali. Ravana is a very sinful fellow. He has also uh, heard that Sugriva has become the king because you've crowned Sugriva as the king. This Vibhishana has come here with full deliberation. It's not accidental, it's full deliberation. He's come here to surrender. So, taking all this into consideration, it seems advisable that you kindly accept him as our own. Paraskritya yujyate tasya sangraha. Please accept him as one of our own. Language is very wonderful. Here, previously it was us versus him, friends versus enemies. And Hanuman is saying, please accept him as one among us. Yatha Shakti Mayoktam. I spoke to whatever degree my strength or my ability allows. Rakshasya, Rakshasyarjavam Prati. Arjavam is simplicity of Vibhishana. He is a very simple man. He didn't make all these considerations. He's just come to you. Pramanam tvam hi seshasya shrutva buddhimatam vara. Oh Ramachandra, you are the best of intelligent persons. If you would like to accept my pramanam, my evidence of it or my expression, the rest, whatever needs to be done, kindly you decide. And with that, chapter 17 ends. Next week, we will hear Ramachandra's considerations. I went longer than usual because I didn't want to stop without hearing what Hanuman's considerations would be and what Hanumanji had to say. Now, let's see if there are any questions, comments, or reflections you have from today's session.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance. Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Prabhuji, can you hear me properly?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances, Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Prabhu, I was just appreciating the way you're describing and it's not just this class, but all your classes before. How I was just every time when I hear the class, I always feel that Hanumanji was the most even though he was the most powerful personality, he can be the leader of the group, but he was always staying on the this is my appreciation. The question is different. He was always staying on the background, and he likes to stay always behind the people. He never comes in front of the people. I was just appreciating. Do you want to add something in this, Prabhu?
When he is with Ramachandra and all of his, who he considers his superiors, and when he's with Ravana, he crushed the whole of Lanka, but that also with severe humility. He's always thinking of Sri Ramachandra's welfare, Ramachandra's pleasure. And every word he speaks, every act he commits is in service to Sri Ramachandra. That is how it is. Amazing personality. Samskara Sampanna. Thank you for your reflection on Hanuman. It's amazing.
Thank
What a
you.
great personality he is.
Well, you can speak more about that. I know you can speak, but you're not speaking because the class is there. But yeah, so my question is, Prabhu, um, Vibhishan, when came to Lord Rama, and there were so many things going on, whether to accept it or not. One point was raised that uh, he has came with a good will, with in the mood of friendship, and look at the way he's talking. So from the way of the talking, it's not better to interrogate him because it might spoil your friendship with Vibhishana. And it makes sense, but my the question came in my mind that how can Vibhushan can also understand he's coming from from the camp of an enemy, and he could there could be several things going in the mind of the Lord Rama's camp, that he could be a spy, he could be enemy, anything. A lot of things can be going in the mind of the people over there. So why Vibhishan, being such a Mahabhagavata, uh, can feel that interrogation could be challenging for his relationship with Lord Rama?
Because Hanuman says, if someone is coming with a offer of friendship and you distrust the person, then friendship cannot be strong because it's began with distrust, or it has the flavor of distrust in it. That's why he's speaking a general principle. And it's not just Vibhishana's speech. Now, there are experts who can speak without the body and the mind associated. Manasa, Vacha, and Gira, with the body. However, Hanuman his expert is such that from the speech he can assess the body and he can assess the mind, the intentions also. So it's not just speech, but the speech is the what is uh, accessible. Therefore, Arjuna very carefully asks, if there is a Sthita Pragya, how do they speak? What is the speech of a Sthita Pragya? How do they behave? What are their considerations? Very similar. And Hanuman is showing us how he considers the same thing as a Sthita Pragya, because Hanuman is one. So he's offering that he's come to you as friend with friendship in his heart. If there is this hesitation and testing and this suspicion, he won't feel the friendship.
Yes, Prabhu. I think it's just make really sense when you combine this example with the Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna is asking what are the quality of Sthita Prajna
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
It makes real sense that Hanumanji did assessed it that oh he's a Sthita Prajna person, and so to avoid, yes, Prabhu, makes sense. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. Anyone else? Any reflections? Something that you liked, you heard today?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you
Yeah,
for a wonderful class. It was so nice hearing the conversation in Lord Rama's camp. It's just an appreciation, no question. Um, Hanumanji, when speaking, in fact, everybody was speaking out of goodwill for Lord Rama. That's what everyone had. But here, when Lord Hanuman was speaking, he makes his intention much more clear. He says that he's not speaking for argument or competition, but it's just the matter is so important that he would like to place his views. That I felt was very nice. Most of the time during a conversation or a situation like this, intentions are either misunderstood or misconstrued. So he makes it very clear that he's coming from a good place.
Yeah, they all love Sri Ramachandra, no doubt. So Griva is not speaking from any other place other than his love for Ramachandra. He doesn't want Ramachandra to be hurt or to be taken for a ride or deceived by a Raksha. He's being protective as a friend.
Yeah,
But there's analysis. There's a whole bunch of analysis. But the heart of Sri Ramachandra is being understood by Hanuman the most. That in offering Sharanagati, the Lord does not make any such considerations. Which family you're from, what is the situation. He just says, they has come to me, I am obliged to accept him. That is what we're going to hear from Sri Ramachandra.
yeah.
I don't want
Thank you.
to reveal all of it. I'm sure you have the book, anyone can read, but let's just see what happens next week.
I have a follow-up question, if you will.
Yeah.
It just came up while talking to. Even something similar, like in the temple setting or in my Krishna conscious journey, I see that all devotees have the same intention. They want to serve the Lord. They want to please the spiritual master. But just like in this situation, the opinions or their way of how to do it differ, and sometimes it's not so amicable, the situation. So here we have the uh, wonderful situation where Lord Ramachandra is speaking directly and is putting all the dissent, so to speak, to rest. So how do we deal with situations like that in our life?
Well, I wish I knew this, but here is the verse. If I knew this previously, it would have saved me a lot of problems. Here it go. Where's that verse? Tatha samskara sampanna Hanuman. अथ अथ संस्कार संपन्नो हनुमान सचिवोत्तमः उवाच वचनं श्लक्ष्णम् अर्थवत् मधुरम लघु. So when we are in such a situation, the shining guiding example is our hero Sri Hanumanji. Just remembering this verse, how did he speak? Uvacha vachanam slakshnam. Slakshnam, very well expressed. Arthavat, full of meaning. Madhuram, sweetly, is so pleasing to the ear the way he is speaking. None of them will become upset. Oh, Hanuman, you have spoken so well. Although he's telling all of them you're wrong. Not that that's not his intention. He's saying what is best for Sri Ramachandra, but he's saying this is wrong. Mahinda said is not right. What's such and such said. He's in fact disagreeing with his own king Sugriva right now. But Laghu, he didn't give long speech. Simple, sweet speech. But for that it is important. Samskara sampanna. Very cultured. He offered the best advice in such a cultured way. So samskara comes from hearing, chanting, hearing from Guru, hearing from scripture, one's own lifestyle of living in the shade of the feet of the great acharyas, guru, sadhus, etc. From that samskara comes everything else, and we're all trying. And so in the interim, things have a little abrasive nature to it. It's possible. So our hero is Hanuman. We seek his mercy and intervention that, oh, I'm in this conversation. Shri Hanumanji, please preside over this conversation and guide my heart, how to speak. And if some things don't work out our way, that's okay. Here's an example. Hanuman will also say something, but it's not about being right. That's something we should be clear. It's not about being right. It's about being in service. Sometimes you may be right, but the service may not be accepted by the Lord. In this case, his words are being accepted. Later, Sri Hanumanji will go and tell Sita Devi, for all of these Rakshasis who've troubled you, I want to completely finish them off. It's in the mood of service, no doubt about it. And she says no. And she gives a beautiful reason why she says no. So his service was not accepted, or his expression of service was not accepted there, although it's coming from love. So it's not about whether it's accepted or not, it's not about whether it's right or not. It's important is whether one is in the mood of service, and the acceptance part is left to the person who we are serving. They may accept, they may not accept. That's okay. Okay.
Hare
Krita
Krishna
Lakshmi.
Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavats.
Yes.
Prabhu, I had a question, like you were saying, like the samskara changes when we hear and when we practice and how we chant, right? But sometimes the inherent nature as such, what brings about the change? Because the person who we are most part of the time, it just remains the same.
What brings about the change?
In nature,
Is,
like, who we are, like in
yeah,
terms of...
yeah. It's a seminar Hemang is working on
Mm.
for somewhere in Chicago, Naperville sometime.
Yay.
Yeah. It's the inherent nature has to change, or not has to change, changes. The transformation requires certain things. And the foundational piece is that how the messages are received, because we have some existing conceptions which we call as misconceptions. Why call misconceptions about life? We have from our experience, from our family, from our past life, from the environment, etc., and from our own life we've experienced. Then we meet the sadhus, we meet Guru, and we hear from scripture. So those samskaras have to enter our heart. For that to enter, the door we have to open. So it's in our receptivity. And that samskara takes root in the consciousness when we let it be planted there, let those samskaras be planted there. So what is our preparation is the openness of receptivity. Receptivity and openness to the sadhus first. Then transformation happens, or it happens to the degree that our receptivity is open, or to whatever degree is our receptivity, to that degree transformation happens. That's a very nutshell answer. I don't want to give out the whole thing because it's quite a lengthy part. There are different aspects to it from the side of what is our part in it, what's the role of grace in it, etc.
Thank you, Prabhu. Looking forward to that.
Whenever it happens.
Come in March to Naperville.
Okay,
Yay.
March.
Okay, March. Jai.
What date?
We don't know. We're working that out.
Still working on it.
Okay, hopefully. Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you, Mataji.
All right, let's
Hare Krishna.
end here. Oh,
Hare
it's
Krishna, Prabhuji.
9:45. Who's speaking?
This is Nritya
Yes,
Gauranga.
Nitya Gauranga Prabhu. Okay, just quick question and we'll end.
All Guru Shri Prabhupada, Guru
All
Paramara.
praise. Jai.
Prabhu, as always, such a wonderful class again. I have like two questions. First one is, I'm so fascinated by this the Hanuman, how he's Samskara Sampanna. I mean, it is so it is giving me so inspiration, like to follow in the footsteps of him. And one question is, like in general meetings, right? When we meet and everybody wants to express their opinion, but then in that assembly, where so Sugriva immediately spoke, and Ramachandra didn't ask Angada, right? Did he specifically point out Angada to speak his opinion, or just Angada took over? And what is the etiquette that they followed? Is it seniority or what? And then Hanuman, unless he was asked, he didn't even speak, even though he was one of the chief among them. So I want to know your thought on what kind of etiquette was followed there. And yeah, can you please share your thoughts?
Well, we'll make it simple and quick. Here, Ramachandra, here, that's the verse number 31. Sugrivasya tu tad vakyam shrutva Ramo Mahabalaha. So Sugriva spoke, Ramachandra heard. Samipasthan uvacha idam Hanumat Pramukhan Kapin. With Hanuman as the Pramukha, Ramachandra spoke to all of them. So he didn't say, Angada, you speak. He spoke to all of them. So they're all expressing because he's inviting their view. And Sugriva had just spoken. So after all, he's the friend of Ramachandra, he's the king. So he will speak first. Angada spoke. Then they all spoke according to their deliberations. And it's not like, oh, you speak. They just spoke one after the other. And within them, there is this sense of, okay, they are the older ones, they are the hierarchical ones. Hanuman just kept quiet. He's a thoughtful person. And what did he tell Sita Devi when she said, oh, you came here, you're the best. Only 3 people can jump across the ocean. Vayu, yourself, and one more person. And he says, oh, no. I am like me, I'm the smallest. There are great generals out there. Preshyante itare janaha. They usually send the smallest, least significant person for such errands. I'm one of those. That's the humility he carries. Why jump and speak without first hearing what everyone has to say? After all, they're all very wise people. I know you have another question, but I'd have to pause here because it's 9:48 for me. So I know there are other questions. Is it okay if you hold them and we'll take them next week when we meet? Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's pause here. We can keep on going because Hanuman is so great. We can keep on going, but let's stop. Thank you very much for your association, for being here, and for hearing the glories of Sita Rama and Lakshmana and Hanumanji, and the great devotees like Vibhishana, who's been waiting. He said Kshipram very quickly, but he's been made to wait. Sometimes we have to wait. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Sri Sita Rama Lakshmana Hanumanji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki